When did you realize you raised your kid, right? When my cousin Vanessa was having a wedding, my son Mikey was the first person I told. He has semi-low functioning autism, so more often than not, my friends or acquaintances specifically request for him not to come, which meant we never went to events together. But I assumed my aunt would be different. When I told him, he started jumping up and down and clapping his hands. Really, Daddy? Really? I can go? When I exclaimed an enthusiastic yes, he jumped into my arms and we twirled around. One symptom of his autism is that he is quite easily joyed by the little things in life. So as we made our way to the wedding rehearsal, I made sure to prep Mikey on wedding manners. Don't talk during the ceremony. Try to be quiet. It's the bride's day, not ours, etc. He seemed pretty attentive, so I thought all would be okay. But we were halfway through the practice ceremony when Mikey started smiling really hard. He only does this when he's really happy about something. So I squeezed his hand tight as if to say, I'm happy too. But we stayed completely silent. Like, radio silent. But when Vanessa made it to the top of the aisle, she screeched, "Excuse me? What is he doing here?" My heart dropped, and I turned to Mikey, who was still smiling, not knowing she was talking about him. No one else said anything. But instead of just continuing the ceremony and focusing on her wedding, Vanessa turned to her groom and screamed like a banshee. "I thought you told him not to come?" By this point, she was pointing straight at Mikey, and he started tearing up. The audience was silently whispering, and I even caught sight of a few looks of disgust towards her. Unfortunately, they were the minority, because most of the audience were nodding their heads in agreement, as if it was the most disgraceful thing they'd ever seen. I wanted to yell at Vanessa, to tell everyone I can't wait until she dies of obesity so me and Mikey can dance on her grave, but I didn't say any of that. I wanted to be a good role model for Mikey, so we just walked out. As soon as we were outside the church, Mikey had a meltdown. "Why would she say that about you, Daddy? That was so mean." I thanked the heavens he didn't know it was about him. "Son, some people are just bitter because they don't like themselves. Luckily, this was just the wedding rehearsal, and 2 days later, the real wedding happened. Luckily, Mikey believed the one we went to was the real one, so he didn't question it when I left him with the babysitter for the day. I'm a pretty big marriage guy, so for the first half of the day, I let Vanessa have her moment completely undisrupted. It wasn't until dinner that I tapped my glass to make a speech. The whole room was silent. Vanessa took the opportunity to mouth the words, "Thank you for not bringing him." I smiled, but not for the reason she was thinking. As you can see, I am currently at this wedding without my wonderful son, Mikey. The air was filled with an awkward tension, but I didn't care. A lot of you didn't want him here today, but he still wanted to give a few words. I then took my phone out and started playing a voice recording. It was one I had secretly recorded of Mikey talking about how happy he was for Vanessa and her husband, in 7-year-old terms. Hearing his voice so full of happiness made me tear up, and the rest of the table did too, except Vanessa, who looked so angry I thought she was about to explode. Still, she cheersed with me and the rest of the family. Little did I know, that moment ended up being the calm before the storm, because the next day, not even 24 hours later, there was a knock at the door, and it wasn't Vanessa. Instead, it was CPS. They asked me a few vague questions before barging past me and examining my home. My head was spinning and I barely understood what was going on. The woman started marking every little thing down on a clipboard. Mikey's mattress with no bed frame because of overstimulation? Noted. Plastic on the furniture because of Mikey's toilet accidents? Noted. Locks on the cupboards to protect him from sharp objects? All noted. All marked as evidence. I tried to tell her about his autism, but that's when she whispered under her breath, "That's what they all say," before calling her higher up. I assumed this was due to inexperience, since she looked like she just graduated college. When she hung up, she told me they had to do an emergency removal order and were going to place him in the hands of his closest relative. I immediately offered his grandma. The following 72 hours were hell. My stomach was turning, and I felt completely powerless. And above everything, I was angry. I knew somehow Vanessa was behind this, and once everything was said and done, I planned on making her pay, because insulting me or my son is one thing, but taking him away is another. The rest of the full story is on my channel and linked below.